Thank you so much, everyone, for being available. Thank you so much, Sadmastery, for giving me an opportunity to conduct this guest session. And in the next 1 or 15 minutes, 20 minutes, followed by a Q&A, we will try and travel some journey into two aspects of what I can deliver to you. I will do the session parallelly at two levels. I will talk on the theory and the framework aspect of it, and parallelly, I will be able to talk to you on my experiences of having conducted large-scale OD and change management assignments. And just as a hygiene factor, I can be stopped anytime in between, and if the host so allow, you can unmute and talk. And also, I would want the chat box to be fully flooded at all points in time. I am Devang. Thank you so much for the introduction, Prachi. And thank you so much, Submastery. Yeah. I am ICF US accredited business coach, and I call myself a consultant facilitator. Now, trainers are a lot in the world, but I am a facilitator. I bring facilitation into training. For those who are from the HR and the training field will know the difference. For those who don't know, facilitation is about asking questions and using coaching principles, and training is about bringing a change in behavior. So let us begin the journey. And I hope that we today are ready with the impact and the readiness to make a brief change in whatever we are doing. Quickly, I want you to introduce in the next 30 seconds or 1 minute, all of you, but we are going to try and introduce because we don't know each other, and every time we have a new audience. I would want all of you to introduce yourself in a following manner. Write your name, but after your name, before your name, you're going to pick up the first initial of your name, and you're going to use a positive adjective, preferably relating to HR or change management. So I launch with me. I've been given the verbal prowess. So I'm Dynamic Devang, D for Dynamic, D for Devang. And I'm a coach. So how do I write in the chat box? In the next 1 minute, I'll just demonstrate how to write. I will write it as follows. I will write Dynamic Devang and coach this way. So who I am in terms of an adjective, starting with my first letter, then my name, and my role or my profession, and what do I impact. Quickly, let the chat box be flooded. And why I'm doing this, you should ask a question. Why this? It's not an energizer. It is done to understand our specific roles in the organizations, what we play. And while we are going to discuss brilliant Bandi metallurgist. Thank you, Mr. Brilliant. And thank you. So you used, so Masaya should be your surname and Bandi should be your name is what I assume. Both is okay to me. Proactive Rahul consultant. So Mr. Rahul, we need R. So I need maybe random Rahul, or I don't know, some positive. Bandi is my surname. Thank you. Great. Quickly, I will not go ahead until all tell me that they are alive and exuberant, because OD as a field, organizational development as a field, and change management as a subject has to be understood from self perspective. Positive Prachi, thank you. Until we don't realize who we are and what we can do in our respective organization. Delightful Deepti HR, thank you. Until we don't realize who we are, and if we don't discover who we are, we may fail to understand the impact that we may want to create wherever we are. Possible Pawan, quality engineer, thank you. And that is the reason I'm trying to tell. Quickly, come on, quality Tushar Sonwane. So, Tusharji, something with T, maybe testable, maybe, I don't know, some word. Trustworthy Tushar, maybe. Talented, okay. Very good, Mr. Bandi, thank you. I assume you are Mr. So yeah, great. So, we divide the audience into two parts, and we have a demonstration of change management going on. Few people are immediately responsive to what I'm telling. Few people are thinking to respond, and few people have chosen not to respond. Now, this is what happens when we do change management in our organizations. And it is okay to be like this. I'm just getting a sense of what we are having. Well, okay, others have chosen not to participate. Let me begin my journey. I've been into the HR field for quite some time now. I was a dean at a business school. And lately, after 2016, I have been taking organizational transformation assignments. I'm an OD specialist also, and I use the levers of, or use the tools of people, structure, systems, culture, and technology to bring transformation in the organizations. Now, when I use the word transformation, I'm not talking transformation in terms of the way people work. I'm talking business growth transformation. I call myself a business growth coach, and using coaching tools and impacting people, structure, systems, culture, and technology, I largely convert the so-called Lala companies. I hope you are aware what are Lala companies, into corporate-driven, system-oriented companies. In my training and facilitation work, I worked with Godrej and Boyce. I worked with Aarti Industries, which is around a 6,000 crore group. I worked for AC Nielsen. I worked for Shapurji Palunji and Company, Afcons Infrastructure, where different types of works have been kind of taken. The most recent work which I've done for OD was a 3-day, yes, Prachi?
Sir, your screen is not visible. It's just a blank white screen.
Purposefully. No, it's purposeful.
Okay, no problem. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. No problem.
It is all purposeful. Thank you. So thank you for bringing it to my notice. So for Aarti Industries, which is a 6,000 crore group, and they are into chemicals, fertilizers, and petrochemicals, me and my team, we conducted a massive organizational development assignment. And I'll talk about it later, but they were undergoing a transformation, and the promoters did realize that, and everyone nowadays, so we live in the VUCA world, and someone is calling that we live in a Bani world. And as employees or as leaders or as HR professionals, independent consultants, trainers, CEOs, startups, wherever we are, in whatever roles we are playing, at the onset, let us understand that we all are living in a VUCA world: volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, where things are uncertain. When I went to US for a conference, someone told me that whether wife and work, these 3 W's are uncertain in the US. And all the 3, minus the wife part of it, in India also has sometimes become true. Weather and work. I go to office tomorrow and maybe my job is not there. Technology is changing fast. And within HR, I was told that a good majority of HR professionals will be here. I want the session to be interactive, and let us understand what level of changes we are facing or we may face in the HR field from your angle, or from organizational dynamic field from your angle. Now, while we are, so at Aarti, we did a massive organizational development work. I coached and trained 32 of their senior HR leaders to lead a change management program, and I coached them on various OD interventions. I don't know how many of you have, thank you, Truthful Tanushri, and thank you, Motivating Manisha, for the data also, for the names also, and very many others also. So when change is constant, and when the external world is uncertain, and when we don't know how the tomorrow will be as HR professionals, our role is, while we want to pick up any change initiative, small or big, our role first as HR professionals or as consultants or as trainers or as business owners is to first dive deep into listing and understanding what are the changes that we as professionals see in the world of HR in the coming few years. Quite quitting has been coming in, according to me. Technology has been changing. I want you to write down or unmute and speak for 1 minute. What are the changes that we all are seeing, or which we see, or which we ourselves are experiencing? Thank you, Mr. Jaisankar. So we may want to stop that early exercise now. Focus on the slide which we are here. I want all of you to try and comment to me, try and write in the chat box 1 or 2 major changes that we may foresee in the world of HR for the larger corporate. Some examples: remote working or hybrid working is coming in, competency-based assessment is coming in, gig economy is going ahead, where people work on a temporary basis. Talent acquisition has become tougher. IT industry, people demand double and triple salaries. Leadership, the way leadership is happening possibly is changing. AI is coming. Thank you, Bhavna. AI is coming in the whole world. Human beings may lose some jobs. Things have become fast. Recruitment is becoming difficult. People come to office, but they bring their body, what we call as the hand and head. But it is very difficult these days to get people inspired, to get people invoked, to get people motivated. There is a pressure, agreed. Automation is coming, VR is coming, virtual reality is coming, machine learning is coming. Some jobs will be non-existent. Very good. Industries are collaborating, joint ventures are happening. Government is changing its policy relating to HR. The money flow is having an impact. Cost pressures corporates are facing. Thank you, Mr. Bandi. Cost pressures we are facing. ATRs, asked to resign, is now very common. Things are becoming very rational from the way it used to be. Gone are the days where in Japan we had Theory Z, which focused on lifetime employment. Temporariness is coming in. There are employees who work in the day. Yes, human beings have been treated as a liability, possibly. Sometime human was a resource. Now human is a commodity. Tier 2, Tier 3 cities are growing. There's a lot of urbanization happening. A lot of people from villages are wanting to come and settle down in the urban cities. Tech has become a disruptor. Multi-skilling is the game. Very good. Thank you. People are wanting to take loads. I'm consulting one public sector organization called RITES. They are into railway consulting. They build coaches and they build railway infrastructure acquisition. My training brief, contracting, subcontracting is coming. Very good. DEI, diversity, inclusion is growing its own thing. Coaching is improving. People are now hiring coaches. The role of leadership is changing. We want our leaders to be not to be bosses. We want our leaders to work as coaches and help us build ourselves. Power structures are going down. Knowledge has been given importance. Young force with dynamic capabilities has been taking charge of the workforce, and many more areas. Thank you all for. Now, while we are into this change, and these are the following changes which are coming. Internal to the organization if you are working, and external to us if we are giving consulting, coaching, or training. And these changes are coming fast. They're not knocking at the door. They're not seeking our appointment before coming. The whole concept of OD, organizational development, and therefore managing change at an organizational level, at a self level, at a work process level, at an individual level, at a group level, is becoming increasing. Pollution is a challenge. HR planning is a challenge. Forecasting is an issue. Very many. So if you keep on listing, the list goes very high. Now, we as HR professionals, therefore, need to be aware about these changes. Now, this is the first part of change management. Earlier, we used to understand that organizations come up with change management programs only when some external threat has come. Maybe mergers and acquisitions have happened. Maybe acquisition has happened. Maybe a competitor is more powerful. Maybe there's a sudden change in government policy. So earlier, maybe there's a change in the workforce. Maybe there's a change in internal organization policy. So in my consulting experience, what I found that earlier days, maybe in the early 2000s, until 2015, maybe 14, until the internet revolution was not taken over, change management was a very basic, very shallow, very small, and restricted to a department or a group. Now we are seeking industry level changes. We are seeing a lot of dynamism. And therefore, the whole concept of change management has changed the way we relook ourselves. And therefore, if you are not prepared to understand this, we will not survive the dynamics of the new environment. So very rightly, Submastery as a platform has come up with this concept, and I am obliged and I thank them for allowing me to reflect and help all of you to think through on what are the basics of organizational development and change management. What are the dynamics which come in the process of change management? Do we understand OD in its perspective, or do we have a theoretical definition of what OD stands for? And at a very basic level, individually, why do people resist change is what I'm going to talk about. So when Aarti Industries was at a peak, they are my clients, they were at a peak, they were around 6,000, 7,000 crore rupees of turnover. Suddenly, the core product in which they were dealing, petrochemicals, there was a sudden change in government policy. And the field became dynamic. Same happened with my other client called RITES Limited. As I told, they are into consulting of railway coaches and building up a railway infrastructure and etc. Now you'll be surprised to know Aarti Industries. Aarti Industries, Mr. Bandi, Aarti Industries. You can Google it. They're a very big group. So the context was as follows. Let me talk more about RITES also. So the head of the HR and the CEO, we had a big meeting, and see the context. They are a consulting company. They are a Navratna PSU. And earlier, they were managing from the Delhi head office. And they had clusters and project offices in the regions, around 26, 27 offices across Pan India. Now, you'll be surprised to know the changes which we mentioned. One of the changes of cost cutting, one of the changes of a stopped recruitment, new recruitments not happening, was thrust upon them by the government. Second, earlier they were enjoying a monopoly. That means they were the only one who were bidding for railway contracts, even though they were a PSU. And even before bidding, they knew that they are definitely going to get the contract. You'll be surprised to know, with the changes in government policy, a massive change has been thrust upon them. Massive change. Now, what is the change? External environment change. What is the change? The change now is that the government wants to demonopolize the government organizations. And the government wants to bring a private sector orientation in the government organizations. And now, the threat that they're facing from an external environment, and maybe in the organizations in which we all are working, there can be similar threats, and I'll ask you what threats you are facing. So an external threat of demonopoly, one. Second, the government is now making the whole competitive process of bidding more challenging. Now, you're not the only one who will bid for a contract. There is no guarantee that you will get a contract. And the government has freezed new recruitment. So therefore, what is the pressure? What is the change? What is the issue? This has led the organization to declutter the whole organizational structure, and with lesser dependency on the head office. The board of directors have now decided to push the work at a decentralized level to the project offices at regional level. And now the project in charge or the regional HO head are made accountable for the end-to-end delivery of the consulting project. Now, what does it do to the project in charge? Now, the project in charge needs to push his or her team. The project in charge needs to make discomfort a way of life. The project in charge needs to manage in less human resources. And the project in charge needs to deliver with less time, more energy, and with more observation and more KPIs. So there are two changes which we are seeing in RITES, and I can keep on talking. There are many examples. Anytime if you feel any doubt, do let me know. So what we are trying to do is, we are trying to do an organization development exercise, and I'll talk about what exercise we're going to do with them. The challenge here is, how do we get this change being accepted at a rank and file level naturally? And I'm specifically using this example because it's a PSU. There is a job security, people are in their comfort zones, and the whole process of getting the leader and the team out from a comfort zone, accept the discomfort, because there are issues of survival of the organization, is what we are trying to do. I'll give one more example. An IT company, around 23, 24 crore rupees of turnover, 4 promoters, young people, and they do work with IT companies, and they do mobile and app development, and they offer various services. the biggest challenge which they were facing in terms of pushing the change internal was that the senior leaders in the organization, what we call as project leads, for those who know, those who are working in the IT space, they were working in silos. For senior HR professionals in the call now, they will understand what I'm trying to tell. Here is a given organizational culture. Here is a policy framework. Here is a cultural code set up by the promoters. And here, if there are 22 leaders for a 32 crore organization, each leader is following their own cultural methodology. And therefore, we have 22 small organizations within a large organization. Now, there also we are doing some OD efforts, and I'll tell you what OD efforts I'm doing. But the change is not external. The change is being thrusted by the promoters and the CEO for the leaders to align in one cultural code. So it's a behavioral change at a leadership level that is being accepted, that is being wanted. And they are old people, 10, 12, 15 years of work, maybe 2, 3, 4 lakh rupees salary per month. And they're good professionals. They're working very nicely. But the issue is that there's a call for change. So in Hindi we tell ye change ki ghanti kabhi bhi baj sakti hai. The bell of change can ring any time. It can be an internal source, it can be an external source, it can be government. And sometimes smart promoters create these changes to create a stir in the organization. It's like they remain busy and the others, they want to remain others also busy. So they are changing. So when leadership changes, they want to initiate a change and etc. So all in all, first 15, 20 minutes I'm talking is one, we as HR professionals or we as freelancers or we as trainers and coaches, we need to be ready in contextual perspective to list the changes that we may forecast and then possibly understand where we are as an organization if we are in a leadership position and then possibly place ourselves wherever we kind of want to. In this context of change management, I'm talking using the word called organizational development. So it is vice versa. Sometimes we do organizational development because we want to bring a change. And many other times we use change as a tool to bring organizational development. Now I want you to, and then we're trying to reinvent the whole organization because the word is called organizational development. It can be a departmental development, it can be an individual development, it can be team development, it can be a group development. But we're trying to reinvent the organization either by its own internal trigger or by the external. Now I want you to take 1 minute again and let me help you, let me help you to reflect back. And I want you to just tell me what you mean by organizational development. I just written the word called reinventing the organization. Some of you may have already worked in this area. Some of you already may be change champions or change agents in your own roles. Fundamentally, HR has to be a change agent because HR within an organization, they have to be a custodian of the culture and the policies and of the organization. So they better play the role of organizational developers or they better play the role of change agents. And they also better secure the policy frameworks and the culture of the organization. So they're the guards, security guards and custodians of the culture. What do you feel? Anyone can unmute and speak or write in the chat box, whatever is comfortable. What is your fundamental and basic meaning of the word OD? And if you can share some experience, it will be wonderful. If you want to, it's optional, although if you want to relate it to your current and future role as an HR professional, I'm fine. But what I want you to ask is, what do you feel you mean by the word called OD? I have attached a meaning called reinventing the organization to answer a change. That is what I have answered myself as. Anyone can unmute and speak, or I don't know, you want to write on the chat box or something? Yeah, quickly. And I've given you some premise. I've given you 2 case studies of organizations which I've already worked for. And You have to tell me that. Very good. So possibly it is called organizational restructuring according to Mr. Bandi. Very good. Others, please be active. Thoda, please participate because it will be fun to listen to you. What do you feel is the fundamental meaning of the word called organizational development? You're developing something, fine, but what are you developing? Why are you developing? Who will do that development? And in that context, anyone wants to participate? Anyone wants to unmute and speak? Feel free. Mistakes are okay. There is no right answer and wrong answer. I'm not used to one-way speaking. That is the reason I'm pushing you hard to speak. Rescheduling. Very good. Manoj Bhai. Thank you. Mr. Arora. Rescheduling. Okay. But if I may ask, and if you may unmute, and if you're willing to speak, what do you mean by this rescheduling? What are you rescheduling? There's a larger question. Are you rescheduling targets, processes, people?
So you'll
Yeah.
be rescheduling your targets, then you'll be rescheduling your job responsibility also. Maybe
Very
you'll be
good.
given more job responsibilities.
More or
You'll be
less.
given over
Yeah.
the and above job responsibilities, you get some extra targets also.
Okay. Okay. So more of organizational redesign rather than rescheduling. Scheduling has more of a time orientation, and design has a work orientation. So yeah, possibly, no problem. Very good. Very good. So, okay. Culture, people, and organization process changes for growth. Okay, Madam Manisha. Yes, go ahead, please, quickly.
Yes, hi, Kushal this side. So, sir, according
Yes.
to the organization development is an efforts to focus on the improvement area of the organization.
Okay.
Like we can focus on the existing policies and can work for the, I mean, like in order to obtain some other standards or the policies which can ease out to the employees and give them the better workplace. And in the consequences or in resultant, it will be aligned our departments and the organization's goals also.
I love the word alignment. So the basic yeah, anyone else? Thank you so much, Mr. Tushar. Thank you.
Sir,
Yeah.
understanding the, risks of the current risks and future risks of the organization,
Yes.
and looking at the challenges that we are going to face,
Yes.
maybe organization would like to strategize its business, plans or organizational goals, so
Yes.
as to, so as to improve upon and also contribute to the society.
Lovely. Very good. Very good. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Or
Hello?
should I continue? Yeah, go ahead
Hello?
quickly. Deepak bhai, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, so Deepak Yadav.
Yeah.
Though I am from quality, but what I feel about the organizational development that I want to share
Yeah.
one aspect. It may be
Yeah.
one of the point.
Quickly,
Is
yeah.
that the performance management system is the playing key role in the organization.
Yes.
Because that performance management system should be standardized irrespective of your diversified business. At
Yes.
corporate level, it should be standardized. Point number one, there has to be KRA action plan, and that KRAs has to be driven in terms of policy or strategy from corporate level to individual divisions. The
Yes.
reason behind is that some of the people are working in top management, some are working in middle level management, and some are working at a bottom level, say workers or who are directly hands of experience of working on machines or something. Sometimes
Yes.
what happen, everybody has a maybe in shuffled or
Yes.
mixed type of KRAs, but that should not be there. The bottom
Yes.
level people have routine work, they have to just
Yes.
do what they have assigned. Middle
Yes.
level people should focus more on 50% on routine work plus 50% on improvement, and
Yes.
top management has a not role to do to improvement more or
Yes.
routine work. They have more work of innovation, breakthrough improvements.
Perfect.
So that kind of a standardization in terms of strategy at corporate level should be done. Otherwise, everybody is doing mixed type of work, routine plus innovation plus. So
Mr.
there will
Yadav,
not
I
be a
appreciate.
standardization. That is one of the my.
Wonderful. I so much appreciate in Mr. Yadav, Mr. Tushar, and others who are voluntarily and willingly cooperating. So, and I'll take the essence from what you told, and Mr. Rajiv has very nicely put it: alignment with respect to vision, mission, and core values. And Mr. Rahul has very nicely put it: enhancing competency for the future and ongoing challenges. And Mr. Bandi has written very nicely as consolidation of organization functions. So And Madam Manisha is very nicely putting it in terms of helping the culture, people in organization, procedures in an orientation to change, and that is also for growth. So I'm listening to all of these, and from what you shared to me, I sense that organizational development possibly is a set of tools, processes, and frameworks which helps alignment. Now, alignment with vision, mission, values, alignment with top, middle, and bottom management roles and KRAs and KPIs, as Mr. Yadav was talking, or alignment with in terms of role intensity, role depth, and making people. So while we are working in this consulting assignment for the IT company or for Aarti Industries or for RITES and others, a striking feature which is coming, and let me also put on the meaning of the word organizational development according to my research. What is largely coming is OD processes, according to me, are used when we want to improve the organizational's ability to survive. Now, what does this mean? Example, if you see RITES Limited as a public sector Navratna PSU, now the change which has come in the environment has come very massive. If people don't accept this change, they will not get tenders. And if they don't get tenders, they will become loss-making. And if they become loss-making, government will put them for disinvestment. If you see that IT company which I'm talking, 32 crores and around 20-24 leaders. Now, if the leaders keep on doing separate cultural systems within a given organization, 23 leaders, 23 separate organizations are keeping on running in a given culture, the survival is at question because there is no one sync. And vision missions are good in terms of putting them on whiteboards and etc. But the larger question is, they don't align, as Mr. Yadav and others were talking, and then the lower level rank and file worker is not tuned, is not synced with the way things are working. So theoretical definition, according to me, and we'll do the case studies also, is OD is a long range effort. It is not a short-term training program. No. For large organizations, it is between 3 to 6 years. For medium scale organizations, between six months to 2 years. And it is not a departmental initiative. It is not a group initiative. It is not a team initiative. It is an organizational initiative. Now, if it is an organizational initiative, we are talking of the change which has come either from internal environment or from external environment, and we are talking of a massive forecasted change, either thrust upon from the environment or created by the promoter. So we are wanting to change the problem solving and the renewal process of the team. We are wanting to improve the foundational ability of the organization to survive, because the change which has been forecasted, internal or external, temporary or permanent, long-term or short-term, is going to challenge the roots of the organization. And if you don't do that, the organization's survival is at issue. Yes, a part of you also wrote it. It is moving towards an adaptive organization and trying to achieve corporate excellence by integrating the desires of individual for growth with the organizational goals. Now, this is a non-sync area which I have found very heavily in my consulting. People come to organizations with their own individual agendas, and I'm not against it. No problem if people are coming with individual agendas, because the more you allow your team to pursue their individual goals, and the more you sync their ability to pursue their individual goals, and in process, complete your organizational goals, is going to be great. The conflict arises when possibly the individual is satisfying his or her individual goal at the cost of the organizational goal. Now, that is big. And if a massive amount of people are doing the same thing, it requires a change in behavior, change in culture, change in system, change in processes. Culture also, yes, Mr. Bandy, you're right. And that massive level organizational impact area is possibly called organizational development. Yes, Mr. Ganesh, you're right. Continuous learning and adaptation, and possibly improving organizational effectiveness, but by a trigger, internal or external, and by a desire of the promoters to initiate a massive level change, either internal or external. Wonderful. Thank you. We'll go ahead. Largely theoretically, it's a planned effort, usually initiated by the top, conducted by so-called what we call as change champions, change agents. Either they are OD practitioners, people like us who are OD consultants, or people internal change champions, or by trainers, or by methods and tools. Yes, you are right, Mr. Ganesh. Improving organizational effectiveness and health. And these interventions are planned. These are not unplanned. These are not random. These are not shallow. These are deep. And we want to intervene in the basic organizational processing using behavioral science and knowledge. So because we are keeping the human at the center. I'll tell you, for Rights Limited, we are doing a 6 months exercise. And the first training is happening on 31st of January. I'll be flying to Gurgaon, and around 34 senior managers will be there. My first role as a OD consultant to initiate this change, to convert them from the comfort zone to the possible discomfort in which they are into, and launch an organizational wide initiative, because the seniors are afraid of the organizational stability. The first thing would be to, what can be the first thing? Yeah, tell me. You guys tell me when I'm wanting to meet them. And I may not do the full OD process, although, but I'm doing a one day intervention with them, and not a large OD tool largely, but I'm doing facilitation and change management for them. Can you tell me, someone can unmute and tell me, you understand the context, right? PSU power is going down, monopolization is going to go away, there's work pressure, KRA's KPIs have been very drastically changed. The managers or the senior leaders have to work now with less resources. The branch has been given an accountability. The government is putting pressure to perform in less resources. New recruitment has stopped. And with Vande Bharat and others, the work pressure has increased. And the mandate is, these guys, the leadership team, needs to change. And they have to accept the discomfort voluntarily for the organizational stability and survival. Now, this is the context. And I'm meeting them on 31st. I'll be doing a training and a coaching exercise with them. I have my own planned agenda. But you, from these 3 definitions or these 4 definitions, okay, I'll take 1 minute and then come back to the case study. So from this 4 or 5 definitions, what do you feel I would be doing? I'll give you a hint. We want people in our team, if I'm a promoter, if I'm a CEO, if I'm a head HR, or if I'm a vice president, or if I'm at a leadership position, my goal should be that people should work like machines. Usually, I don't want them to be human technically. Yeah? Please, I'm talking very rustic language. Like if you press the switch on, the light bulb comes in. If you press the switch off, the light bulb goes down. Now, while I'm giving work instruction to my senior team as a CEO, example, we want to achieve this much sales. Example, we want to launch a product in this much time. Example, we want to open up new markets. Example, we want to increase our team size from A to B. Example, we want to improve our gross margins from B to C, whatever. So there can be business goals, right? Now, my role as a CEO is only to give thoughts and work instructions, as Mr. Yadav told. Now, I want the initial leadership team, then the senior middle management team, the middle management team, junior team. As a CEO, I live in a very rosy world. I mean, my assumption is that all of these guys need to do and will do exactly what I tell them to. I am feeling usually. Now, these are called citizenship behaviors. What are citizenship behaviors? Citizenship behaviors are behaviors where the employees and the leaders do what they are told to do, like what Siri does in Apple. Dear Siri, play Dum Mara Dum for me. Yes, I am playing Dum Mara Dum, and then Dum Mara Dum, whatever. But in real life, the Siri within us is a different Siri. Why should I follow? Every time he's talking to me like this. Against me, politics is happening. No. New leader, who is he? I'm working this organization since 10 years. I will not do this. So people are a bundle of emotions, values, culture, rules, regulations, rituals, caste, creed, religion, gender, habits, education, parental influence. We human beings are very complex people to understand. There's a theory which goes, and I don't know whether it's right or wrong, God himself forgot the source code with which he created humans. Right? There's a theory. I don't know whether it's right or wrong. Now imagine this context. Now, and in this context, OD is important. And I'm going to do that live. So I'm going to talk a case study of this also with you. Now, the CEO has initiated a change. It's an internal change in both organizations. In Rights Limited, we are telling, come out from discomfort, come out from comfort, accept the discomfort, work with less people, work like a private organization, be open for measurement of KRAs and KPIs and etc. In the IT organization which I'm consulting, the promoter is telling, dear leaders, don't have your separate cultures. Accept the organizational culture and change the way you're working. Not that your work is wrong, but we don't want 22 cultures to work in one organization. I mean, in both organizations, if you see, the people, those who are to change, they are displaying what are called as deviant behaviors. Yeah. Now, what are these deviant behaviors? According to owners and promoters, and according to senior leaders, and this is where OD also comes in. One of the usages of OD as a field through tools, methods, and change management initiatives is to cajole, is to inspire, is to invoke, or sometimes even force citizenship behaviors in employees or in teams. Now, what are the citizenship behaviors? Citizenship behaviors are behaviors where we give instructions to the. Thank you, Mr. Roy. OD does address deviant behaviors, fosters citizenship behaviors. Thank you, and enhances organizational health and effectiveness through strategic inventions based on behavioral science. This is wonderful, Mr. Roy. Thank you. You have an in-depth knowledge, and you are actually resonating with what I am telling. Thank you so much. So wonderful. So large part of OD initiatives, the psychological background for OD initiatives comes from the fact that as a promoter, as a owner, or as a VP or whatever senior position I am into, I want people to do exactly what I'm telling them to do in a manner in which I'm telling them to do, in the time and the resources which I allot them to do. So, I mean, very negatively talking, but if OD initiatives are successful, at least at a back end, negative connotation, we want people to be robots. So unknowingly, subconsciously, OD initiatives take out the humanness from the people. That's my personal thought, and I'm open for debates. And what we call as citizenship behaviors are the set of rules, regulations, processes, principles, where we actually want as leaders or as owners for people to do what they're told to do. Coming from the school system, have you seen school children going in a line? The teacher tells, "Haath piche kar do, don't shout, don't talk." So don't, there's a big list. And if you do that, you're in good books. So if you don't do masti in the class, if you come on time, if you answer my questions, if you stand up when I come, I don't know what else. If you treat me nicely, even though in the heart you have disrespect, but verbally you do. So that has come from the school system, with due respect. Now, organizations also want that. And with due respect, I have been a part of large organizational development initiatives through change interventions, through OD interventions, where I'm wanting to create a mass factory of humanless humans. And the so-called citizenship behaviors, which I'm wanting to develop, are the behaviors which I think are right, because I'm the promoter, owner, leader for the whole organization. And that is the reason I call OD consultants to invoke people to do that. So I'll hold for 1 minute here, and I would want your thoughts to come in. Now, you see this organization. So 2 cases I'm talking: Sapphire Software Solutions, 22 leadership cultures, and they have to change. And they're not wrong. They're doing perfect work. The team is happy. Everything is good, but the promoter thinks it is not okay. So the promoter's definition of a citizenship behavior is everyone should be same. And at Rights, the promoter definition of the citizenship, anyone can tell me? At Rights Limited, what is the promoter definition of the citizenship behavior? Anyone quickly, from what you understood the case about? Yeah, go ahead. unmute. We can discuss for 1-2 minutes. Let us keep it interactive. Quickly. Anyone? If you are understanding, please tell me. Yeah. At Rights Limited, what is the definition of citizenship behavior that we are talking? Anyone? Quickly. Yes.
Maybe, breaking out the comfort zone
Yes.
and, accept, as you said, accept the current
Yes.
situation and
Yes.
ready to face the challenges and
Yes.
adopt, yourself as a manager
Yes.
or senior manager, what you said,
Yes.
adopt to the change.
Correct. So,
And
Mr. Maddy,
bring-
can I make it very crude, very rustic, and very easy to understand if you allow me to from
Please.
your answer? Yeah.
Please.
Work with power.
Please don't
Work-
behave as public sector employees. Start behaving as private sector employees. That is what he's. Yeah.
Yes.
So that is what he's telling. Very good. What else? Very good. Anyone else? So can you identify the citizenship behaviors for the software organization? Anyone? Because what is to be changed is a behavior. So we are using OD interventions to shift these behaviors at a mass level. That is OD for us. So for the software company, for the software organization, 22 people having 22 separate leadership style. Now that itself is a divine behavior as per the promoter. So what can be a citizenship behavior? Very crude, rustic language. Anyone?
Follow the
Any-
organization culture. One organization culture with the
Follow. Very good. So be a herd, you know? Are you getting? So what is the undercut message? Don't have individuality. Hello? Anna? Sorry,
Become
but
become a follower.
become a follower, become a sheep, join the herd. Don't be individual, don't be creative. With due respect, so I cannot challenge the CEO. CEO is always right. The promoter is always right, even though I don't want him to be. But my role is to, so because the client as a customer is paying me, so my role is to follow what he says. And I'm an external consultant, so I will kind of subscribe to his theories. I will not challenge him whether he is right or wrong. External OD can have one team, one goal, one voice. Wow, as a theory, it looks good, very good. But these are very good words that you're using, Mr. Gaurav. But very rustic is be a herd, stand up when I tell you to stand up, do what I tell you to do, and better do it fast, as per this one. Great. So my role here was to explain to you divine intent citizenship behavior. So fundamentally getting clearer, thoda. Are we on the right track? Are we getting some sense of what is OD, what is change? Now we're going towards the tools and frameworks also, but yeah. And so let us go to rights. So I'm taking the session on 31st, and I don't know how to convert a 20, 30, 40-year-old PSU culture in one day into a private sector culture. Yeah, you can understand my challenge. Yeah. Now, this is an OD intervention. Method and tools, theoretically, there are 7 methods. And I'm going to face terrific resistance from people. Yeah. What will they resist from me? Anyone? What are these leaders going to resist? Please, anyone can share. And why do generally people resist change? I mean, so any form of change. Anyone? So let us talk theoretical first and then also apply it in the Rights Limited quickly. Yeah. So this is, I'll take the arguments 1 minute, but the people, those who have found out OD, have a different view than what the promoters have. So they tell that people want to grow, employees are good, employees want to contribute, and as a OD values, we are talking OD aims to overcome obstacles. So this is all theory, but at a group level, people don't share what they are capable of doing and etc. So there's some assumptions and value. What OD is actually not, it's not a micro approach to change. It should not be confused with training and development. It is more than any single method. It cannot be achieved by any thumb rule or technique. You can integrate TQM, job enrichment, etc. But that is not OD. It does not include random or ad hoc changes. Process of OD is systematic and more than raising moral or attitudes. And largely OD is very human in nature because the fundamental unit of transformation is individual or the group or the system. And we are talking of a systems approach because we are very seriously concerned about the fact that you cannot bring a small change. And even if you bring a small change, if you assume that that small change will not impact the larger organization, that's not a nice understanding. Anything which you do in any part of the organization because of the interconnections is going to impact everyone. OD is very scientific and I'm going to talk about it. And yeah, I'll come here in a minute. So I'm going to take this program on 31st and 2 questions to the team, 1 minute of interaction, no chat box now. I want you to talk. I mean, are you getting the context? People don't want to leave their comfort zone. Very good. So they're not comfortable with the changes. You answered the question. But why is that they are not wanting to leave the comfort zone? That is a larger question, right, Mr. Ashok? So 31st I have to take a 7-hour, I don't know, they call it a training program, but I call it a change management program. And imagine the load on me as a change agent. I'm an external change agent. So if OD is related to change, whose role is to initiate? So in this case, in both the cases, I'm an external change agent. But in some cases, you guys, some of you friends, may be the change agents or maybe the change champions, right? So sometimes you are also there. So I'm explaining my case. I prepared a timeline. I prepared a curriculum also, but I know I'm going to face resistance. Can you share what type of resistance will people have for the change, for the comfort to discomfort wala model? Or in the IT organization, what is the resistance to change that will come in? What are the questions that they're going to ask while we initiate this change process? I know a few friends who travel, they're government employees with due respect, and they travel around 30-40 kilometers from Ahmedabad to Gandhinagar, etc. in the government bus and etc. And you'll be surprised and sad to know, my friends, whole bus is empty, but someone is sitting on my chair, my seat. I mean, the government has not allotted me that seat, but if someone is sitting on the seat in which I regularly sit, I go home. I have seen employees who go home from their buses because someone else is sitting in the chair in which, yeah, leadership role is to initiate the change in the OD process. Very easy to say, no? Very easy to say, but difficult to do. In both of my cases, Mr. Ganesh, they have employed an external consultant or a coach like me to initiate the change. And the day you are going external, with due respect, it is telling that the current leadership either doesn't want to initiate the change, or they themselves are resisting the change, or they don't have the guts to initiate it. They are afraid themselves. So that is the reason external. And my experience suggests external agents, external champions do a better job because they are not loafing, what we call a social loafing. Sabse bada rog kya kahenge log. They don't have a fear of socially being accepted in the organization. They want to be accepted only in the training. So let us discuss for 1 minute. What do you feel? I'm not asking you what should I do the training on, but I'm asking you what will be the resistance when even I talk about the changes which will come in the future for the consulting organization. And what is making them go against the whole process of changing? And it is compulsory. Change is the only constant. And the leadership has found that senior leadership, I mean, the project officers are not wanting to change themselves. So where will I get resistance from? That is a question which I'm asking. Anyone? 1 or 2 participants quickly. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone? Are you with me? We're discussing the case. Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Yadav.
Yes, actually, sir, what I feel that as you told that why people are resisting the change. The biggest thing is that whatever people say that even though my 8-hour duty, I am working daily 12 hours, 4 extra hours, I am sacrificing my work-life balance. But if you actually calculate the efficiency of any person, I personally experienced my example also. that we are working out of 8 hours only hardly 6 or 5 hours as a value added activities. So
Okay.
there are many non-value added activities we are doing. Maybe it is a part of organization culture, because we
Okay.
don't have not many systems in place, not many automations are not there. Many places we are doing human work instead of using some
Got it.
software. So the people don't want to bring their deficiencies at surface level and to
Okay.
expose them, their skill, competency, and system and procedure wise deficiencies. That's why they are resisting the change.
Okay.
They may get a higher responsibility. They are out of 8 hours, you working only 6 hours value added. So why not
Okay.
you are taking additional responsibility? That's why
Okay.
they resist the change. That is my personal
Correct. Agree.
experience or observation.
So the fear that I will be overloaded with work and I'm already overloaded and I will be double overloaded. So I don't want to accept the new thing. Very good. Very good. But in this classic case, what will happen is what I'm asking. For my consulting example, what will happen? Where will they resist the change? Because the data is with you. You want to share some data regarding that? Anyone? Contextual? Okay, no problem. So they will shout out loud and they will tell ki, thank you, Deepti madam, that they'll shout out loud that who are you as an external person to talk about what we are facing and you know nothing about us and so on and so forth. Very good. Very good. And how about what resistance I will face from the IT company? 22 leaders, 22 separate organizations. What will I face? The two questions, why are they resisting? And second is, what resistance will that showcase? Yes, please. Anyone? Are you with me? We are all together, right? Are you understanding? Should I change anything? Give me feedback, please. I mean, I feel I'm doing good, but are all of you understanding? Yeah. Just show a thumbs up in the chat box so that I can. We have a good amount of people, 34 people and listening. So yeah, good. Thank you. Great. So while we are discussing change and change management, in OD, there's a big requirement to appoint change champions. And these change champions have to lead the change initiatives. Yeah. And I'll show you a video. It's a TED video. Thank you. I said for the thumbs up, thank you. 2 people are there with me at least. So I want you to see the video. And if you get appointed as a change champion in your organization, or you volunteer to be a change champion, or maybe someday you will be entrepreneurial and you to lead a change journey in the organization and use OD to do whatever you're wanting to do. It's a 3-minute video. I'll just showcase it to you. Thank you. Great. I understand all of you are here. Mr. Tushar, Mr. Rajiv, Mr. Ganesh, Madam Archana, Madam Bhavna. Thank you. Good. Thank you. Chalega. Thank you. No need. Very good. Beautiful. So because digital hai karke, I want you to focus on this video and keep your sounds big one. So how can you create a movement in an organization, in a team, is what the video is all about. Let me see. Please confirm if you can listen to it. The internet is slow. It's a beautiful 3-minute video. And it's opening in a minute. Oh, it's very slow. Yeah. I can continue till 3:15, right? That was, yeah. So 1.5 hours. This has to be skipped, not this.
One cigarette will cost you 20 rupees,
No.
which is going to kill you. But you can join my workshop.
No, sorry.
Which is going to give you
Yeah.
great salary hike.
Okay. Sorry, bhai, we don't want to join your workshop. Yeah. So very beautiful video. I just want you to check through. Yeah. Thank you. Is the sound audible, everyone? Just someone tell okay, please. Is it audible?
No sound, no visual, sir. You're
Sorry?
just seeing your screen. No sound, no video.
Oh, how come? Because I'm sharing it directly. 1 minute. Hold on. So do I need to reshare the screen? Wait. Yeah, I'm resharing the screen. Now possibly you'll be able to see. Now are you visible?
Yes.
Good. I want all
Yes.
of you to pay attention. The idea is to, what does a change agent do in an organization and what does a leader do to initiate a large scale change? That is a video. Thank you.
Gentlemen, at 10, we talk a lot about leadership and how to make a movement. So let's watch a movement happen, start to finish, in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons from it. First, of course, you know, a leader needs the guts to stand out and be ridiculed. But what he's doing is so easy to follow. So here's his first follower with a crucial role. He's going to show everyone else how to follow. Now notice that the leader embraces him as an equal. So now it's not about the leader anymore, it's about them, plural. Now there he is calling to his friends. Now if you notice that the first follower is actually an underestimated form of leadership in itself. It takes guts to stand out like that. The first follower is what transforms a lone nut into a leader. And here comes the second follower. Now it's not a lone nut, it's not two nuts, 3 is a crowd, and the crowd is news. So a movement must be public. It's important to show not just the leader, but the followers, because you find that new followers emulate the followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, and immediately after, 3 more people. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point. Now we've got a movement. So notice that as more people join in, it's less risky. So those that were sitting on the fence before now have no reason not to. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, but they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. So over the next minute, you'll see all of the those that prefer to stick with the crowd, because eventually they would be ridiculed for not joining in. And that's how you make a movement. But let's recap some lessons from this. So first, if you are the type, like the shirtless dancing guy, that is standing alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals. So it's clearly about the movement, not you. Okay, but we might have missed the real lesson here. The biggest lesson, if you noticed, did you catch it? Is that leadership is over-glorified. That yes, it was the shirtless guy was first, and he'll get all the credit, but it was really the first follower that transformed the lone nut into a leader. So as we're told that we should all be leaders, that would be really ineffective. If you really care about starting a movement, have the guts to be the first one to stand up and join in. And what a perfect place to do that. Thanks.
Yeah, is my screen visible? Tell me is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I want someone to share learnings in terms of what is the role of a change leader, not a leader of leader types, but if you are a change leader, what would you do? And OD largely has been misconceived that OD is only a leader's job. I don't think so. OD is a leader's job. The day we feel significant enough that we also can do wonders in the organization and we ourselves can start a movement is the importance of OD. And we usually should. So tell me quickly, what are the learnings from OD and change management perspective from the video? Quickly. Yes, please. Quickly. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, you are very much audible.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you. Tell me.
Hello,
Yeah, go ahead.
sir. In this video, the leader is started from one person, then all
Yeah.
the person will join to us.
Yes. So what does it teach you about OD and change management? How does it relate to you and your role in the organization? That's what I'm asking. Does it relate to you and your organization also?
First, to become a change point,
Yeah.
and try to influence at least few of the guys or few of the
Yes.
team members,
Yes.
and every other those few of the guys who has got influenced by yourself, by you,
Yeah.
maybe act as a change agents.
Yeah.
And at one point of time in the organization, a situation will come. This
Yeah.
will become a practice, and everybody will start falling into that. And at
Absolutely.
the
One.
final, should fall into
Mm.
that. And finally, probably, those who are not ready to change will be, looked at as a, the people will be ridicule them.
Yes.
Okay. And finally, everybody will into the, fall, change path.
I so very appreciate your argument. I listen to all and then comment. Very good. Anyone else? Beautifully stated. Thank you. What else? So from OD and change management perspective, you have to relate the video learning. That is what the question is for those who could not understand the question itself. Yeah, very good. Someone else? Nicely shared. Very good. Who? Someone else, please. Go ahead. Nothing right, nothing wrong. Just speak. What are the questions that this video is raising to you? I'll ask you some questions. For those who are working in your organization, there will be many change initiatives happening. Okay. And if there are none, so organizations can be divided into two parts. One is those who are constantly changing and launching new change initiatives. And second is those who are not changing at all, and those who are not launching those change initiatives. There can be only two types of organizations. Now, I don't know how and where do you belong to and which type of organization you represent, but whichever. So can be a dormant, slow, dead organization, or it can be a hyperactive, too many changes, very dynamic, daily issue organization. I'm okay with both. And irrespective of the organization which you are from, as a video, yes, Mr. Ganesh, leadership initiation is not always exclusive. Various levels can initiate the change. The question is not various levels, Mr. Ganesh. The question is, are you the focal point of the change? That's the question which I am kind of putting forward. So good, but nice sharing. Two types of organizations. One is dull, dormant, and half-dead organization. No change is initiated. I mean, typically public sector or whatever. This is just a case study. Or over dynamic and changing organization. Every day there's a new change coming in. Now, if you're a part of either or both, how do you relate the learnings of the video from an OD perspective is the question which I'm asking. And earlier, sir rightly told some aspect of it that either you can be the first follower or I don't know what. Yeah. Any comments? Any share that someone wants to do quickly? Anyone? Yeah. Go ahead. Feel free to talk. If you're understanding, please talk. If you're not understanding, do let me know. We just have to do now the tools for. Yeah. Any share that you want, anyone, or I continue? Yes. Okay. Anyone? Great. Now, what I personally learned from seeing the video was, yeah, senior leaders initiate change often due to their influence. I'm okay with it. The question is not whether the senior leaders initiate change on the question is, if you are a senior leader, do you have the guts to go out like that lone person and start doing things which you feel are right? One. Second, in terms of change. Second, if you see the video very minutely, ideally it was a OD and a change management example. And I'll give you how. There was an intervention done by the person. The group was static, not enjoying. The person who chooses to be the change champion, no one told him to be a change champion. He felt that he wants to do something, went out in the open, started to do things which he felt was right, not disturbing the rules, regulations, and policies, of course, and did not invite anyone forcibly. Now, that's the key learning. If you want to create a natural change process, although you want to instill citizenship behaviors, but you cannot force people to change. Now, if you cannot and do not want to force people to change, because if you force people to change, that the whole initiative will die down fast. The game is, are you yourself having skin in the game? Are you yourself charged up by what you are doing? Are you yourself self-motivated and self-inspired to lead whatever you've been wanting to lead? And do you want to launch it on your own with or without support and effort? Looks like a very simple example, but when Gandhiji started from Ahmedabad for Dandi March, walking, he was alone. And he actually did not bother whether people will come or not come. He walked, and while he reached Dandi, and history is the evidence, 8.5 lakh people were walking with him, ready to die for the salt satyagraha. And there are very many examples like that. As a business owner, as a change agent, as an HR professional, as a coach consultant, my question is, if I'm feeling that I have the power to change others, am I myself taking initiative, and am I myself charged up by the whole process of change that I want to initiate, that I feel is right? And do I have the guts and the power to include and invoke other stakeholders? And I just have to get that critical mass in the organization, the first 3 or 4 followers for my change idea. And if I actually am able to get on a natural level those people, nothing in the world can nothing in the world can prevent it from becoming a movement. I don't know how many of you travel by Vande Bharat trains. Have you heard of Vande Bharat? I hope you have heard it. It's India's fastest train as of now. And I'm going to show you a small video if you get time. Mr. Sudhanshu Mani, he was working with India Coach Factory. India Coach Factory is in Chennai. For those who are from Chennai will know. And it develops the railway coaches for Indian Railways. And on a 190 crore budget, just before his retirement, Mr. Sudhanshu Mani developed this model. And he faced such a resistance, and he wanted to organize, and he wanted to change the face of Indian Railways. So actually it was massive organization development initiative. And he was able to do it. He met with people and he went everywhere. I'll show you that video in a while. So that's the logic. So 2-3 learnings from my side, and we'll just move ahead. One, I'll show you the learnings. Yeah. One is, if you are the change agent, do you have it in you? So are you the one who feels you have the potential, but you feel vulnerable? What are the factors you have to think through? If you are the change agent, you have to think through what will stop you, what will support you, who are the stakeholders that you have to balance. We don't have time now, but I would have wanted you to pick up a change initiative in your organization, and I would have wanted you to list down what fears you face, and we could have discussed. But you can do it at home. Now, to be a change champion and to launch a change, small or large, planned or sudden, internally driven or externally triggered, what does it take? It takes guts. It takes acceptance of inner vulnerability. It takes readiness to accept the failure if the failure occurs. It takes going beyond what I'm being told to do. It takes a larger movement level initiative within the organization. Now, it's not easy. It's not easy. We have a lot of processes and tools. No problem. Which tool you use, how you use is up to you. But they won't matter if your internal zid, if your internal desire is not so strong. If you get tired, and if you feel the change initiative which you are launching is not okay, and if your self-image about it is bad, will not happen. So according to me, a change champion is a person having a responsibility for changing existing patterns to obtain more effective organizational performance. And largely what is important here is to know which method should be used. What method is right, not as per you, but what they accepted. So one of the most simplest OD tool is stand-up meetings. I don't know how many of your organization do that. I have found in my consulting experience, every day before beginning the day, in my all organization consulting, I tell the leader to do a brief, crisp, powerful 10-minute stand-up meeting. Now, what is done in the stand-up meeting? Today, I am going to do this. today you guys are expected to do this. Any comments, concerns, please do let me know. And when you control the behavior at a daily level, but only at a 10-minute level, and then set them free for the full day without disturbing them, they initiate their changes. And you take this meeting as a leader for 15, 20 days and let then someone else lead the meeting. That has been one of my most powerful initiative. The larger question in OD interventions you ask is, within the organization, what bothers me and what do I wish to do about it with the resources that I have in the time that I have. We always keep on complaining, I don't have a large team, I don't have money, I don't have time, I don't have resources. They will never come. Now, if it never comes, are you not wanting to initiate the change? If you're interested, you have to do. So this video is a 15-minute video. I'll send the links to the team at Submastery. They will forward it to you. But it talks about Sudhanshu Mani and how he developed the Vande Bharat train. So if you want to bring a change through OD, fundamentally either at an individual level, team level, so you can start with individual, then let it percolate to the group, department, and then organizational. Every level will have a separate level of intensity, separate deeper level of self-tenacity, and a greater degree of clarity of the why. Approvals, permissions, autonomy, whether you have it, not have it, how do you get them, what do you do to do. For those who have seen the movie Rocketry, it's a classic case of organizational change management. I don't know how many of you have seen R. Madhavan, Rocketry. Has someone seen it? Can you unmute and tell? If not, please check it either on Amazon Prime or Netflix. It's a classic case in organizational development and change management. And he's a scientist and he works with less resources. He has big dreams. He uses OD interventions. He uses tools and principles, and he gets India to go to the lunar mission and etc. Will there be resistance? Of course, yes. So people are people, and it's their natural spirit to register. So where will they register? Why do they register? We already discussed this. Sometimes they feel a threat to the common ways of working. Sometimes there is a threat of position power. Sometimes they fear redistribution of power. Sometimes social networks, location, friendship. Sometimes my own conformity to my norms and culture we change. So I'm towards the fag end of my session. There are many 15, 20 OD interventions which you can do, but a brief overview I'm going to present, and I'm going to talk about one or two interventions. So at an HR level, we have performance management, talent development, wellness interventions, diversity interventions. At a strategic change level, we have transformational change, trans-organizational change. At a techno-structural level, we have work redesign, TQM, job enrichment. At a human process intervention level, we have individual interventions, group interventions, team building. We have sensitivity training. And these days, coaching has also emerged as a massive intervention. Survey feedback has emerged as an intervention. Management by objectives has emerged as a method of intervention. So largely human process interventions are related to interpersonal relations, dynamics, and etc. Techno-structural interventions are decided for bringing a tech element into work redesign. Human resource are related to talent development and diversity, inclusion, and etc., and bringing well-being. And strategic change interventions revolve around transformational change, restructuring, mergers and acquisitions, and other related things. So these are the large methods which are available. I do not have time and the energy to discuss everyone, but I will discuss sensitivity training and MBO quickly. In sensitivity training, anyone aware of what is sensitivity training? Anyone? Anyone? T group training or sensitivity training. Have you heard the word? Anyone?
No, sir,
Unmuted.
no.
Okay, no, okay, fair. So it's the highest form of human change intervention available in the world, right? I'm a certified T group trainer. So I'll tell you the method, and I've been a part of it, and we have done it for. So technically the name is called process work. And for those who are keen and want to know more about it, or want to get these conducted in their own organizations, I'm just typing in the chat box 2 organizations in India who are doing this work. Very intense, very strong, and I have not seen a better way to work than this. So ISAPS.org, Indian Society of Applied Behavioral Sciences, and Sumedas.org, both are Indian organizations. In India, the founder or the very sharp person is Pulin Garg, and one more lady called Indira Parikh. She was IIM Ahmedabad director. Both have been doing this work, and in this type of work, we work in the here and the now, and we work with leaders largely. And these type of programs do not have set agenda. Neither we show videos, nor there are PPTs, nor there are games, and still it is called training. I have been a participant in 5 of such groups, and they have power to change your existential identity and your relation of self with self. So this type of work impacts what are the stories that you are telling to yourself about yourself. At that level, it goes and works. 7-8 people in a circular setting, sitting arrangement, 3 facilitators for 7 people, around 8-10 days of work, daily 10 hours, and no past, no future. And from what people interact, share in that context, the facilitator presents a contra and an alternate perspective to impact behavioral change. So I'll give you a classic example. In one of the programs which I attended, one of the participants was sharing that my father, who is married since 40 years now, is calling my mother, his mother, by a pet name after 40 years of marriage. And he's childish, and he's that, and he's that, and he's this. Now, the facilitator allowed him to speak and then asked him a contra question. The contra question was, alternate question was, what is the pet name of your wife? And he broke, he cried. And the deeper issue was not that the father called the mother by a pet name or a love name. The deeper issue was he had problems. This guy had issues and concerns with his own stories about love, about being cared for, about the marriage not working in a manner in which it should have worked, and did not have the power to confront the wife in terms of positive communication. And issues in the primary system at family largely come as issues in the secondary system in office. So we don't have time to discuss it further, but everything which you guys or your team members are facing in organization as a secondary system, this method suggests that there is a base in the primary system. So something in the family, something in you, something in your past background comes and hovers over you. And until that root is not challenged or questioned prospectively, you'll continue to remain like what you are. So this is a very deeper journey, guided journey. Coaching is also the same. I don't know how many of you know what is coaching. Coaching is a method. I'm a international accredited coach, so I do a lot of coaching work. In coaching, we don't have group work. I mean, I don't do group work, but it's one-on-one process consultation. So I give an example of a coaching exercise. There was a lady who was a very senior person, and she told me, I want to get thin. Okay, you don't need a coach for getting thin. Go to the gym, eat less, fine. And then deeper questions, and to the 2-hour session. By the way, coaching is a costly exercise. And ICF accredited coaches like me, they bill a lot, but there's a transformational change which happens. So when we went deeper, we could understand that the question was not about the body. The question was the lady did not accept her as she should have accepted her. So the question was of self-love. And then we went deeper. And so people tend to, what is the coaching premise? The premise of coaching is that people tend to present their surface level identity when they talk. What do coaches do is through invocative and provocative questions, the coaches help the person being coached to go deep down and see a perspective of life which they've not seen. And when perspective shift happens, the mental orbit shifts. And when mental orbit shifts, the ability to see the world changes. And therefore, the story that you're telling to yourself about yourself changes. And then there's a permanent change in behavior that way. So I'm doing coaching with those leaders. And you want to tell, Mr. Bandy, you want to tell something?
Very, very good aspect, sir, which you just touched upon,
Yes. Thank you.
coaching point of view.
Thank you. So for the software organization, I'm doing coaching. And one of the questions which I asked the leader, so there are 2 hour intense sessions, 2 hour session. So yes, Mr. Manish, can you define your leadership style? So what do you do? How do you do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So is it different, similar, etc., etc., etc.? How is it? No, sir, it's wonderfully working well. So then I ask a question, are you proud that you are having a different style individual, which is contradictory and which is anti the organization? Yes, sir, I'm proud. Okay. What makes you proud about the style? So then he tells me that, sir, I've been an independent person and I've been third in the family and I never got a chance to showcase who I am and what I am in my family. And here is the first time in this organization that I'm touching base with my own identity and therefore I am a different leader. So are you aware of the pros and cons of this? No, I've not thought, etc. So 2 hour session, 5, 6 sessions with each person. So I'm on a 100-hour coaching assignment with those organizations. But we stir them at a very natural, very core level. That is coaching as a OD tool. Very costly. Only accredited coaches should do coaching. And what else? Survey feedback is a very traditional, rustic method. You send Google Forms and you interview people and etc. But I love the method called MBO, Management by Objectives. So I don't know how many of you have heard this name. Management by Objectives would mean, can I as a leader and you as a team member, can I sit with you and rather than me dumping the business goal on you, can we two together set the goal in a process which I want to satisfy the organizational goal, but I will also help you to satisfy your individual goal. So the more the individual goal gets satisfied, the more the organizational goal gets satisfied by a process of counseling and mentoring, not coaching. So that is called MBO. There are very many methods. So for both the for rights, I'm going to use team coaching, and I'm going to ask them tough questions, discomfort, this, that, and etc. So by lunch, they are going to come to me and tell, sir, ऐसा करेंगे तो हम मर जाएंगे. I will make them speak that change is required for. I will not tell. So that is high-end facilitation, or what we call as the RAT, role negotiation and role analysis. So role negotiation would mean I openly ask and tell the person that now is the time to renegotiate your role and etc. and all. So ऐसा कर सकते. So yeah, this is from me. There are very many, but these are some techniques, survey feedback, which I already told. We are short of time, else I would have management by objectives. Then we have team building. Team building is a wrongly put word. It is called team bonding largely. So yeah, this is it from my side.